I went to town today, Ma.
Yes.
I didn't have any headphones.
You didn't.
I was just like, I'm just going to listen to my speaker. I'm not going to use headphones today.
Oh, okay.
And then the speaker broke.
The speaker broke?
Yeah. It was like $24. It
Wow.
wasn't a real bit. It didn't last very long. So that was my to-go speaker.
Oh.
So that's all right. I'll try and charge it inside.
That's
But it's like it doesn't hold a charge. It's just like it starts, it connects to Bluetooth, and then the sound just cuts out. It's just
oh, it just shits.
it just shuts off. It don't matter. It's not that big of a deal. Oh my god. I probably should not be doing this talk right now. Alright, I'm gonna do a talk.
Oh, okay.
Alright. Let me turn this up. It's hot in here. There. How's that?
That's good. That's good. Come on, doggy. Yeah.
There you go, dogs. That's good for you too, Luz? She said, yes, thank you. She got to go for a ride yesterday. Luna did. She went for a ride. She's my pretty girl. She's such a good girl. They're happy dogs. Alright. This probably isn't going to take very long. Hi, welcome to my tube. My name's Marge. I'm a Heyoka empath. I just like having these little talks on the way I feel about things. Today I feel pretty good. It's been a pretty good day. It's been a couple pretty good days. Pretty couple good days in a row. It's almost a trend. I say that and then it's like, uh-oh, here we go, Mars full moon. Something happens, just totally flips that script, but nah. Just wait and see. Just wait and see. Tomorrow is the full moon, though, in Sagittarius, so that's cool.
Full moon?
Full moon in Sagittarius, so I wonder how Mom's going to be feeling tomorrow. Maybe we'll get her out and about, go for driving around a little bit. She's probably going to feel the extra fire in the sky. She got up early last couple days. She'd been sleeping in to almost 10, and then that just changed, too. It's just energy is a trip. You just kind of got to go with the flow, and it's not just your flow; it's those around you too. Too many people just want the world to just be how they want it to be, so their lives are comfortable, and it's not what God intended. So, my day was good because I got to go. I had a really good breakfast sandwich this morning at Ollie's. A la carte. I think she should call her food cart alley cart. So when you say it fast, sounds like a la carte, alley cart. Anyway, so I get to make my lemon bars. I'm gonna make my lemon bars and then bring them to see if she wants to sell them at a restaurant. So I got all the stuff today, and then it was like a neat synchronicity because when I was leaving the grocery store, she was going in to get something and I was leaving. And I was like, all right, you know, okay. This is all right. So I got white chocolate chips. I got my toasted coconut. So I'm going to get up early. I'm going to toast the coconut first. And then, no, actually, I don't do that with those. I do that on other things, not those. Yeah, I'm excited. So I wanted to talk a little bit about Pride. I don't know if I've talked about Pride in the month of June in a while. When I started my videos, I talk about it. I talk about it every year because ever since I was a little girl and they started this whole rainbow flag stuff, I just always and I could even, if I so feel compelled, I could even identify with a lot of that stuff, I don't though. And the reason why I don't is because when I was a little girl, I'm like, they want to, oh, it's the rainbow flag for all the people that are not like everybody else, the little queers and all that, and then they entice you by, oh, okay, well then I fit into something. it's the wrong idea. It's actually creating more division than inclusion. So I've never been in agreement with that. That's why I don't like to align myself with any groups and stuff like that, because a lot of that stuff I don't buy into. So don't lump me with that stuff, is how I feel about it. So when I was a 9-year-old little girl, and I found out that us gays, us homosexuals, got the rainbow, I thought that was wrong. I wasn't okay with that. Because nobody gets the rainbow. Nobody gets the rainbow. You can't give the rainbow to a certain group. So I came up with this little idea when I was 9 years old, and it says straight people like rainbows too. Yeah. So I tried to launch this a couple years ago, and I'm not good with mail and that kind of accountability where I have to go and do things like, because I got too much stuff to do, I forget about stuff. I was supposed to bring the ladies containers for the Indian food that I got a week ago is when I picked it up. It's Friday. I can't believe how fast time goes by. Of course, I didn't leave the house over the weekend, but I have been into town since, and I forgot. So I think to make that right, I'm going to go buy a couple more of these containers for her, and then bring her extra back for my tardiness. So hope she's not too mad at me because I spaced it. Anyway, so I always thought pride was something, like mom would teach us things when we were little about taking pride in the work that you do, doing doing a good job, and I struggle with that because like a lot of stuff I couldn't even try because I couldn't even contend, because I'm one of those that I got chicken scratch for writing. My penmanship's real bad because I'm thinking about so many other things. I clear myself and intentionally set my mind to focus only on the one thing I'm doing, which is not easy for me to do. And mostly people think about one thing at a time, and it's very hard for me to think about one thing at a time. So I got to be present when I write. Otherwise, it's all chicken scratch and stuff. And then I'm not paying attention to how much room I have left. So I got words going up the page, and, they thought I was dyslexic when I was young, because I understand why, because I get in such a hurry. And then you add all my trauma and stuff like that on top of it. It makes it hard to think. It was real interesting when in other videos I talk about the synchronicities have just been freaking crazy lately. I talk about like sometimes trying to function in life with the headaches that I get and stuff like that, and nobody cares, you got to do what you just have to show up in life. It doesn't matter how you feel. And so I have a lot of pain. A lot of times I get migraines. There's about 4 days out of the month that I don't have them. Those are good days. I'm always, I'm sore and achy and stuff. That's why it's so important that I keep moving, because if you stop, that's when the aches and pains really start setting in. Then you start losing mobility, dexterity, all that stuff. You start getting old. So, where was I going with that? I was going to wrap it in with something about the pride of ownership and stuff. Oh, yeah, with penmanship. So it's like I would try so hard to write legibly, and then I would always get bad marks. It didn't matter how hard I tried, the teacher just saw that sloppy penmanship. It doesn't matter, it doesn't matter the reasons why. People don't care about reasons, right? Unless it impacts their life. So, oh, that's what I was talking about, my migraines. And then sometimes I feel like just navigating through life, I feel my head my head is in one of those old tin garbage cans, and somebody's beating on the side of it with like a wooden spoon, and they're like, okay, now you got to answer these algebra problems, and your life depends on it. If you get it wrong, we're gonna freaking blow your brains out. That's what it feels like. So, and I know that other people feel like this. And then it was interesting. The synchronicity was an episode of Rockford Files. He did that to somebody. He caught a guy, a muscle, a meathead. He caught a strong arm of some thug, and he fell into a trash can. So Rockford kept the trash can over his head, and then tied a rope to the handle and to his feet, and then was like beating on the side of it to get the guy to talk. And it worked. So I thought that was really interesting. And I was like, well, maybe I saw that when I was... That came out the year I was born. So Rockford Files has been around as long as I have. It came out in October 74, and I came out April 74. So I think people just got their priorities skewed. A lot of people on this planet got, they don't know that they have a spirit. They think that they're just supposed to earn as much stuff in this life, and then it's when they die, that's it. And what people don't understand is what you do in this life, you're gonna freaking answer for it in the next one, or maybe the last one, depending on which order you go in. I just look at when every time I see an old picture like of the 1800s and stuff like that, and I see people in the picture of the 1800s, I'm like, you know what? I kind of feel like that's me. Like everything old, like that's an incarnation that I resonate with in some capacity, and it's there in my field to remind me. Because it's important that we never, ever, ever, ever forget where we came from. And if you come from meager means, you're supposed to remember how that feels. So if you do rise up and start gaining more abundance, that's where the whole charity part comes in. I remember my brother made me read this book, Richest Man in Babylon. And it's all about compound interest. I'm like, dude, this is all reindeer games. And anytime there's rules and regulations, the deck is stacked for people that are willing to do things that I'm never willing to do. So I'm not going to get the shit that they have, because I'm not willing to do the stuff that they do to get the crap that they have. I never want to be rich. If I have so much, that means I'm not doing enough for other people. And that's an imbalance that I don't want to be. The rule of thumb I always understood is you got 6 months, you need prudent reserve of 6 months of bills and utilities and stuff like that, right? That's what they taught us, the programming that I got. And then now it's like every man for himself. People are millionaires and all billionaires and trillionaires. And yet, at the same time, the cracks of society and the level of homelessness is just I don't know of another time that it's been like that. And it's going to get worse because, shoot, man, I just keep getting notification after notification after notification about floods and tornadoes all over the place. Fires, earthquakes. I mean, whoa, man. So unless these people that are getting misplaced have houses all over the place, it's just more people on the street. It's going to get real colorful, real interesting. I live in New Mexico, though. In New Mexico, they praise junkies and drunks and stuff like that. And people get all, oh, no, we don't. Yes, you do. Shall we talk about Breaking Bad? And should we talk about the drive-through employee today in Sonic down in Albuquerque? They got freaking arrested for selling a hot dog. I guess he gave it to the wrong customer. Because he dropped in the hot dog, he dropped some cocaine in there too, so he's dealing out of the window, and then he wasn't freaking keeping track of the person. So he went to the wrong person. I know, because that's how I used to buy freaking acid. I used to buy weed. We used to get that because my buddies, they worked at the taco den in Redding. They had to change, or no, In-N-Out Taco. It was In-N-Out Taco, and then it was Taco Den, I think. Or maybe it was Taco Den and then In-N-Out Taco. And then they had to change the name because In-N-Out Burger got all pissy. So they had to change their name. But yeah, my homies that, when I was in high school and after and stuff, you just, anything? Oh, hey, buy a burrito and get your goods with the burrito or a taco, whatever. So nothing's new, man. People think they're so smart, like they're coming up with like ingenious, clever new ways to do stuff, and it's all freaking circumventing. People have been circumventing whatever they're trying to circumvent. I like going to work. I kind of miss going to work and the accountability sometimes. What I did is I said, you know what? I created a life that I wanted to stay home with mom and the dogs. And so I traded that. I sacrificed I'll see how big I can be in corporate America for hanging out with mom and the dogs. And I'll never regret that decision. I hear a story year after year about people that are sad because they chose over their career over time with their family. I didn't do that. Sorry for ya. Anyway, so it's happening. All the stuff that I pictured is starting to kind of happen, and I'm excited for that. So, but as far as pride, I'd like to see the world shift and see what see what the things that they're going to be. I think pride is such a silly thing anyway, I'm not real prideful. I have enough. I got pride in things like my personal hygiene, because it took me a lot of years to learn, because I didn't know a lot of stuff, and it was good enough for me. But you got to take care of yourself, is what I've learned. And I've learning to take care of myself by taking care of mom. See, because mom's 72, she'll be 73 November. And knowing the importance of taking care of your body, like all this stuff, people tout and talk about all these athletes and stuff like that. These people are ruining their bodies. They're ruining their, like, the aches and pains and stuff like just from that comes with just from twisting your ankle and stuff like that. And they do it for money. It's not about pride. It's about greed. And a lot of these people, I saw a kid I guess he goes to high school here in Albuquerque, and he signed to go to college, I think in Washington or something like that, which is a shithole now anyway. And like his whole family, there's like 9 people, his aunt, all these kids, his mom and dad, and the kid just looks like he has the weight of the whole world on his shoulders already. Like his whole future is, and maybe he don't even want to do it. I guess he'll find out if his heart's in it. Because when your heart's in it, you'll succeed. When people are doing stuff for greed, man, from a place of greed, they're not going to succeed. I checked in on what's his face today, Defender of Ants. I met him here at the Waterhouse in Taos. He traded his minivan in. I don't know. That storyline is weird. I just check in on stuff from time to time, see how things are evolving. And things are just weird. Definitely verging on the Aquarius age, man. Old boy ended up getting a Charger, like a new car, so he doesn't have his minivan anymore, or he's going to sell it. And I don't know. It just kind of went off the rails. Trippy stuff. Like, and I always come back to, what are you doing to help other people, man? All these people have all this stuff, and it's like, what do you do? I'm trying to acquire. I got goals. I got big goals. I want to have a travel center in Taos where people can come and be safe without having to worry about, they can't, like, because they're going to crack down more on travelers. They're gonna. I mean, you already see it. All these people living the van lives and stuff like that. It's gonna get harder and harder for people to find places to just be. Because there's gonna be so many people that ruin it, that they're just gonna clump everybody that travels into the group of scumbag. And that ain't fair. So, I'd like to see a travel center here where people can come into the compound. It'll be a secure facility. No alcohol allowed. It'll be a dry facility. You can eat all the freaking cookies you want. Do it, stuff like that, but no booze there. You can keep them in a locker, secured on the outside premises. You can get it on your way out. I don't want no drunk, man. It's not. People don't control themselves enough. If they could, it would be a different story. It's them, it's not me. So, anyway. And then, if, like, they have car trouble, then we can arrange for some mobile mechanics right there to come right there on the site, and then have facilities. Or, you could fix it yourself, whatever your inclination is, and then you can do laundry. You can, hang out. Always have a pot of coffee on for people to hang out and fellowship. And if you want to, spend a couple nights or a month or something, and then moving on to the next thing. So I think that'd be cool. I got all kinds of ideas. I'm very civic minded. I have all kinds of ideas for the local government. I'm not real impressed with how much these police and all the local people are just like, oh, you're so brave. You did such a good job. I'm like, excuse me? 8 people got shot in a town of what? Red River is so small, and there are police all over the place, and what? It still happened? Like, people clout themselves for, like, too many kudos for not doing your job. And I told Allie, I said, I was telling her about some of the stuff ideas I have for local governments, and that is to have freaking live active shooting training. And to show people and teach people that, like, even if you work in a restaurant and nobody's armed, better freaking that hot grease in his face would fucking ruin his day. There's anything. You can use all kinds of shit for a weapon. So that's the world we're heading into for a while, because everybody can do whatever they want. See, because long time ago on Adam and Eve, it wasn't that there wasn't darkness and shadow aspects on the planet. It was that as soon as they ate that apple, then they could see that frequency, So now people are raising in their frequencies, and so they're going to start seeing all this darkness. More and more people are going to get crazy and go, oh my God, I can't handle it. This is what the world is. Yeah, people rape babies in this world, and a lot of people profit from it. And I was one of the babies that got raped, and that system, I never profited. I never got a dime for freaking my the what happened to me. I never got nothing for. I got a lot of ridicule. I got a brother that says, "Well, I never saw the sheriff report." It's not your fucking story, you know. Your hip don't pop, bitch. You know, it's like nothing needs to be proven to you. You know what I mean? It's my life. This is my story. You know, you don't need verification of my life and my story of it. You know, he's the kind of guy that he'll go to Central America 3 times. Albuquerque, when we lived in Oregon, he and his family all went to Albuquerque to go see friends for a week. Yeah, and did all the stuff like down by the like Roswell and all that stuff, and then South America, Central America 3 times. They're in San Diego now. They've been to Spain, you know. I mean, but they don't come see his sister and his mom, you know. So that's all right. We don't want you here anyway. You know, lawyers are kind of scumbags. So I've never had a lawyer do anything good for me. One did one for mom one time, huh? The lawyer that you had for the custody suit, he let you pay him off for $5 a month. It took you 5 years to pay him off. But mom did it, you know? And, man, the law is a dirty, dirty thing. It's not to help people. It's to put people in a bad way. And I'm not a fan of the people that are in. I'm not a fan of anybody that's in control of anything. Anybody, you know, if I went down to like City Hall and sat in one of their meetings, it'd be real hard for me. I'd be like, okay, who's in charge? And then someone would be like, I'm the mayor. And I'd be like, okay, now where are your parents? Because I want to talk to them. Little Scooter. And your little $110 jeans. You know, let me talk. We're the grown-ups. We're the grown-ups. Because people freaking, man, Taos is like owned. Taos is like in people's pockets. And all the locals know the freaking dealers and stuff like, they're the freaking police and shit, dude. So, we already live in a lawless land. I'm just waiting for the rest of America to enjoy what I get to enjoy every day. Anyway. What else? I'm almost done. But this whole pride thing, I every year I can't stand it. Every year I can't. It's just, oh, it's this again. They're still doing this, you know. And I dip in on the media every now and again, and I see stuff like Budweiser is tanking financially because they had some born male that wants to be a girl that says drink our beer or some shit. I don't know. Something like that. And so people are like, I don't care about none of it. Drunks suck. You know, good. I hope it falls. I hope people just stop drinking and spend more time with their families and stuff. And start keeping their word and being more accountable and just being less douchey. You know? Yeah, there's every now and again, one out of like, what is the statistic for that, I wonder? How many people are regular drinkers? Like, how many people that drink alcohol just drink it, you know how I tell the difference between a regular, normal drinker and not a drunk like me? Is that if they go to a party and they get a drink and they're going around and they're mingling with their friends, and somewhere between their conversation with this person and that person, they set their drink down, and they only drink half of it, and they don't even know for a half hour or 35 minutes that they lost their drink until they're like, oh yeah, what'd I do with that drink? That to me is a normal, regular drinker. That's not me. That's not how I drink when I drink alcohol. When I drink alcohol, I'll start with a 12-pack. And then we'll see where it goes from there. And when I say we'll see where it goes from there, that means about 4 or 5 in, I start getting the inclinations to go on adventures. And where those adventures going to take me, who knows? And that shit is how people get gone. Yeah. It's a miracle that the only like that nothing, it's sacrifice season, man. People get gone all the time. So I put myself in harm's way cuz I thought it was fun, cuz I wanted to do it. That's my self-will living riot, you know, running self, just running right, doing what I want to do. It didn't matter that, you know, mom would be worried about me, or she didn't like, you know, she didn't like how I acted when none of that mattered. It's all about what I wanted to do. So it wasn't until I stopped living that way. That's where the pride comes from. Not going around doing what you want to do, driving this 6-figure car, getting that 6-figure car, you know, having all this and that bell and that whistle and this gadget and that, you know. I thought it was funny because I guess a Native American pueblo in Albuquerque or somewhere in New Mexico opened their sacred land to fucking Elon Muskrat for Tesla, for his crap cars. I'm like, dude, the native has so lost its soul, man. Everybody's lost their soul. Like they're just living for themselves and chasing sensations, and it's heading, the earth is headed in a trajectory that there's so many people are going to learn their lesson. Let's see if it sticks. Let's see if it sticks. So that's all right. World keep falling apart because now I'm starting to make friends. Yeah, I told her today. I said I'm ordained too because she's got a food cart, and so I think I think I'm switching up the barbecue. I think I'm gonna have her cater for my thank you lunch for the vet clinic. And that's how, when I do stuff like that, I'm not buying like everybody a full bowl. I'm going to get them like a bunch of sample platters and stuff so they all can get a taste and buy, you know, full belly of good food, and then that'll drum up business for the restaurant too, right? Because cooperation is nature's way. And I got a really good breakfast sandwich this morning. Mom got a kiwi burger. It had pineapple on it and beets and egg. See, Mom, because she's from New Zealand. So that's how they do it in New Zealand. It's real good. Mom ate the whole thing. She had a black bean burger today. So, yeah, it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. What else? So now I'm starting to have more stuff to do. That makes me happy. Using my powers for good. Because the energy, I listened to one talk this morning, and they were talking about, it was like Uranus and like the electric feeling. And I'm like, man, the energy is going to ramp that up more. I already feel that all the time. That's what I'm always trying to not feel. Breathing through stuff, you know, I'm trying to not breathe that rapid energy all the time. You know, trauma's a freaking trip, and I've been electrocuted and stuff, and I'm always up here. Trying to stay down here is where I want to be, and I guess more people are going to start feeling like me with their sensitivities and stuff. I'm just here to navigate through this next part. That's all I'm trying to do, is help people get through this, because, man, the last 6 years had been so uncomfortable for me. And if this is not the trippiest freaking synchronicity, because I've talked about the brown house back here. And we moved in here in November. I found out that my new pal Ollie lived in that house, and she moved out of that house the month we moved into this place. Isn't that weird? And she moved into a place over on the side of town that we moved from. I know that people are supposed to meet for reasons, you know? Like cuz I get drawn to people and then I go meet the people to see if the experience that I foresee, if they can see having the same experience as far as all I want to do is meet people and create shit and make cool stuff happen. You know? I already talked to her about I said, "Would you do a pop-up?" She didn't know what a pop-up was. She had Guy Farrar come to her restaurant. I'm not a fan of his, a lot of other people are. I said I'm always willing to hear about how people are though, so that's cool. I'm always open to people changing my mind. I like when people change my mind. So I would love it if my friends at Block 16, Paul and Jessica and their kids, if they ever wanted to come visit northern New Mexico, you know, there's places to stay all over the place. I want people to come to Taos and experience some of the things that I talk about here. Eat good food. They're renovating a convention center. I would love to have a convention one day. My convention would be different. And I've been to a lot of conventions. 14 years I went to conventions where people would talk about their experience, strength, and hope of what their life was like before, during, and after their drinking careers. So, and I know how to throw a party too. I used to go on a lot of those retreats. See, because the stuff outside, you know, the meetings, none of that stuff is AA. None of that stuff is AA. Like the retreats and the conventions, that's not AA. It's the stuff in the meetings that you don't talk about. That's AA, so we don't talk about it. But the conventions and stuff, I freely talk about, and I got some juicy stories coming up. Primarily Bobby C, the jerk off speaker from Philly. That's going to be a good story. Yeah, yeah. The dirty cop from Philly. Dude is like now he's like he thinks he's a fucking mobster or some shit. But he's a cop labor representative. If that's not a douchey position, I don't know what the fuck is. But we'll talk about that story later. Anyway, so things are good. I'm finding more reasons to use my mixing bowl, my mixer, my electric mixer. My I know the t-shirts are going to come in. I know they'll be in this month sometime. That would be really weird if they weren't. But they were, and I think that would be a perfect time to start selling the Straight People Like Rainbows too during Pride Month. And it ain't even in the rainbow, it's in the color spectrum, so it's different. It's nacho typical. So I was telling Allie today, it was so cool because she was like, because I brought my camera. And on the way in, I took a couple pictures. I got a picture of a freaking golden eagle today, Ma. On the way into town, I got a picture of a golden eagle. And I gave the camera card to Allie. So I took a bunch of pictures of the restaurant, of like the progress of the before and the after, because of all the work that she's having done on it. And they have power, like every day there's something new, you know, that makes it different than yesterday. And so I gave her the pictures, I said, that's what I want to do. I just want to go around, if you have events, I'll just, I can come along, I'll take pictures, and then I'll give you the pictures, and you can use whatever pictures you want for whatever. And then when I was in there today, one of the local radio station felt bad about what happened, and they're gonna do a spot for her, which is cool. See, people take care of people that take care of people, is what I believe. So that was a real terrible thing that somebody maliciously broke her shit. I felt violated when frickin' somebody took a plant off my porch. I can imagine how she felt when somebody cutting the lines to her gas lines and stuff and slashing her tires. 'Cause she's successful? That's why they did it. Because people liked her food? I mean, people are just getting spiteful and ugly, and they're not listening to that voice that says deep down inside you just don't hurt people. Because that shit comes back to you. I know it does. So, anyway. What else? I've been playing the frequencies for Artie, the liver frequencies. And I bought blueberries, so now the dog, I'm gonna get blueberries and some vanilla yogurt. I'm gonna blend up some vanilla yogurt, blueberries, and peanut butter, and mix it all together with honey, little honey, and mix it all together and put it in ice trays. So it's not hot here. I don't think it's gonna get real hot here. 'Cause it's gonna be 70 for the next little while. So it's not too hot, but it'll be a nice little snack for the dogs, I think, a little treat for them. 'Cause they're such good dogs. So Artie's doing good, he's happy. I haven't gotten overly stressed in 5 days where I got mad. I just haven't got mad. Which is good for me too. What else? So things are looking up. Cautiously optimistic. So now I feel like I have more choices in life. Where I don't feel like I'm so much a wild animal backed into a corner, or I'm responding from a squirrely, disassociated place. I'm starting to settle down a little bit. It's kind of nice. And what else? So, yeah, that'd be cool. I want people to come visit. I I want to have promotional codes around town, that somebody could get a 10% discount off their price, their total food, if you go in and say, "Not so large Marge sent me." Because that'll reverse all that animosity I had for years because of stupid Pee Wee Herman. Came out when I was in high school. It was dumb. Hi, Jessica. Freaking people are mean, man. Kids are mean, and then they grow up to be adults that are mean. Now we got a whole bunch of people that are starting to feel bad for how mean they've been to people. And when it's so weird how people's psychology works. People will be mean to me, do shitty things, and then treat me bad because they've treated me shitty. It's just bizarre. I don't even understand. I just assume just leave people alone. If you really don't like them, just leave them alone. And it's hard for me. Ignoring things and stuff like that is really hard for me to do because it's, in my mind, in my heart, it's like it's a lie. Like I'm lying to myself. But okay, I'm going to go ahead and lie to myself. I know this person and their behavior towards me is bullshit. It's unjustified, but I'm going to go ahead and pretend like they're being real cool to me just to keep the peace. I don't always do that. I'm kind of a douche sometimes. I really am. I can be a dick, man. like when that guy freaking questioned my integrity at the hardware store the other day. Small man. And small man, if you want to step up and do that little pissing contest that you guys do, it'll be fun. I swear, dude. I said it's a trip, man. It's a trip. I show up cool to people and they just throw attitude, so I give it back to them, and then they're like, "Gee, why you gotta be so mean?" And I'm like, "Dude, you fucking started it with me." People just like to start stuff. I know there are days that I just, okay, whatever. Okay, okay. All right, whatever. Mostly I don't even go out. I would love to make a life where like other people would do my shopping for me. Where I wouldn't have to go even to the store. 'Cause it's just, God, man. People don't feel good. And it's just drives me crazy. Like the way, I'm like, are they trying to keep anybody else from doing anything? Like, when they get up and they're like, okay, I'm going to get up. I'm going to go out today. I'm going to go to the grocery store. I'm going to walk down the middle of every aisle. And then whenever anybody wants to get anything, I'm going to block them. It's a trip, man. I like to just watch people. This was a cool thing. I ran into my old pal Mario. He works in the produce department at Smith's. He came from the place where I got my vape pen. Actually, where I got this bong too. Same place. And then he was moving back to Pennsylvania because he lived in Cuesta, and he was moving back from Pennsylvania. And then I went in there a couple weeks later, and I asked how Mario was doing. She's like, he's back. And I was like, okay. And then I was getting mom's apples yesterday. And he was talking about how happiness is a choice. And his birthday was 2 days ago. So that was yesterday. So yesterday was the 1st. So the 30th. Because I knew he was a Gemini from our conversations before. So I was like, hey, it's your birthday season. Happy Gemini. It's your season. I get excited for Aries season. I think everybody should get excited for their sun season. Hey, how you show up in the world. Yay. Your representation. So he was talking about how happiness, and I was like, and he said it, and as soon as he said it, I looked up and I looked at his name. I'm like, hey, it's you. And he said his name's Mario, and I said, that's funny because I'm Marjo. Sometimes people will call me Marjo. I'll refer to myself as Marjo. Cool your jets, Marjo. Simmer down now, Marjo. Need a kick in the pants, Marjo? So, how you doing today, Ma?
Okay.
You getting tired?
Yeah.
8:30. You want to go to bed?
Yeah.
All right. You never put your shoes on.
I got my shoes on.
No, your shoes are over here. You never put them on today. We'll leave them here for the morning. So, all right, Mom's got to go to bed. That's what I got for now. Thanks for hanging out. Hope you have a rad night. Peace.